Welcome you guys to another episode of Boss Bitch Radio. On today's episode, I am going to be sharing with you some protein snacks. Now, I find that a lot of my clients over the years struggle with getting in enough protein, number one, and snacking, number two. Now, snacks aren't inherently bad. They become an issue with gaining weight, gaining body fat, over consuming calories when they are in excess. And oftentimes, most people will gravitate towards the snacks that are more addicting, right? A lot of these companies that create snacky type foods create them in a sense to get us to want to crave them more, right? To trigger our taste buds and the pleasure centers in the brain to want to keep consuming them. So then when you start snacking, if they aren't already pre-portioned sizes, it is very, very easy to overconsume calories and continue to be stuck in your goals, right? Whether that's, getting shredded, or honestly, you can even inhibit your goals of putting on muscle if you're eating snacks that are just kind of empty calories and not really providing your body with the fuel that you need. Now, this isn't a dictatorship. Your girl loves snacks that have nothing to do with any of my goals, okay? So I love me some Doritos. I love me some jalapeno chips. And all of the wonderful array of snacks that the snack gods have provided us in the grocery stores, okay? I'm a hoe for snacks. However, I don't buy them to keep them in the house. So what I mean by that is, for years, my poor children, I feel so terrible for them. They never really had snacks readily available in the house, because as soon as I started getting real into my health and fitness, probably right around the time I started bodybuilding, if I'm being honest, because that's when I realized the impact that nutrition had, not only on how I felt, but also how I looked and how my body performed. I immediately started a dictatorship in my household. Okay, so that is where I did start pumping the brakes on all of the snack foods that I would bring into the house, because one, I didn't want the temptation for myself, right? And two, I wanted to start teaching my kids that snacks are not inherently a bad thing, but this is not really like food. Okay. Like, it's food, but it's not something we should be consuming in excess, because it's not healthy in the long haul when they're abused and overconsumed. So my kids knew that we were not really a snack house. I heard this somewhere else, so this is not my saying that I'm stealing. My good friend Haiti Pippins over at Sweat Local, she's my business bestie. I believe I heard her say this on her stories, but her kids said this to her, which is that her house also is not really a snack house. It's an ingredient house. So I have an ingredient house for the most part. So when you come to my house, or when you would at some given point when I had my, all my kids living at home and they were young, when I started this journey, is I wouldn't have just snacks laying around. If they wanted certain snacks, it was something that, one, they could get if they went over to their friend's house, two, their grandparents, because grandparents be spoiling. They are the spoiling queen and king of the kiddos. But it wasn't something we readily had available. It was more of a treat. So in my house, in the ingredient house, we always had plenty of protein options generally, and whole food options as well. So with that in mind, I know that this tends to be a recurring struggle for a lot of people, which is the protein intake and the overconsumption of delicious, palatable snacks. So I wanted to share with you some of my favorite protein snacks to have on hand at home to help you in your journey. Okay, let's go down the list here. Now, stick around, because I'm going to share a link with you at the end so you can print this out. Who loves a printable grocery list? Yours truly. A printable checklist. I'm a hoe for checklists as well as snacks. So if we paired the two together, let's go. We're going to have some fun. All right. So number 1, Greek yogurt. Great high protein snack to have on hand. Now you can buy the pre-made little yogurt cups where they're already pre-portioned and they have different flavors. There's so many options, right? I know Oikos makes one. There's a multitude of brands. Now, what I don't want you to do, unless you have to for some kind of dietary reason or some medical condition, is I don't want you to get too lost in the weeds about, well, is there red dye number 40 in there? Or how many grams of sugar is in there? Listen, those are the small rocks, okay? Small rocks, meaning that's the minutia, that's the next level stuff you worry about when you become a competitor or you're really like have already a solid foundation of your nutrition and you want to kind of tweak it a little more and refine it and just really improve the quality of your foods. And you can do that now, but I assure you that if you get caught up in the minutia of the small rocks, you just won't do anything, right? So if you're going from like snack monster to this and you want to start being like, well, there's some sugars in there, I'm going to be like, bitch, you ate McDonald's yesterday. Okay, shut the fuck up. So Greek yogurt, when I'm in prep, I will generally do a non-fat plain Fage is my favorite brand. It's spelled Fage. So that's my favorite brand. It has no sweeteners, no nothing in it. I will do that. And then I will add my own sweetener to it, like some stevia, some cinnamon, maybe throw in some berries, and I'll make my own. But if that's too much work for you, don't do that. Just get the pre-portioned Greek yogurt cups, low fat. They're great. It's great for a post-dinner snack. That's probably my most popular go-to for myself personally. And sometimes I will throw in some fun little additions in there that make it, kind of like a little extra desserty. But again, Greek yogurt, top snack for me. That's my favorite. I started with the best, or at least in my opinion. Number 2, very similar along the lines of the Greek yogurt, is cottage cheese. So cottage cheese gets a bad rap. Some people are like, oh my God, that's for old people. It's actually not that bad. Now, also with the Greek yogurt, the cottage cheese, you could do sweet or savory. So you can make it either way, depending on what kind of mood you're in, right? Some people, when they have just plain Greek yogurt for the first time, it tastes like sour cream. It's kind of alarming. Now, that's why I will personally sweeten it with stevia, cinnamon, something like that. But if you buy the pre-portioned cups with the fruit flavors and things, those are generally sweet. Cottage cheese, you can essentially use the same kind of tactics or strategies with your Greek yogurt where you can add some things in. You can add fruit. You can add a smidge of granola, things like that. That's a great snack. And then the third thing is going to be egg whites. And you're like, egg whites is a snack? That's fucking weird. Well, one of my favorite things to do is to hard boil either a half a dozen or a dozen eggs and keep them in the fridge. And if I'm between meals and I just want a little something, I will crack open a couple eggs and I will consume the eggs. Sometimes I'll eat the yolk. Sometimes I'll toss them out. It just kind of really depends on how much fat I'm consuming for the day, if I want the yolk or not. You don't have to get that fancy. I just want you eating whole foods and some protein. So eat the damn yolk, okay? Eggs hard boiled, and even honestly, egg whites, if you scramble them up and just kind of have a little something, if you want to go all out like that, you can most certainly do that too. It's usually not like a convenient snack, but the hard boiled eggs or hard boiled egg whites generally are. Now, if you are a person who likes convenience, where you find your eggs generally at the grocery store, at the top aisle, you will sometimes see they have bags of already done for you hard-boiled eggs. They're already peeled. Everything's ready to go. So again, one less objection to getting shit done is just throw some money at the problem and pay for convenience. That's another option for you. The fourth one is going to be those pre-made chicken breast strips, right? Super easy, super basic, already cooked, already seasoned and flavored. just a quick go-to. You can grab a handful of them, pop them in your mouth in between meals or whatever, and have them handy. You can pack them in a work bag as a snack with, some mustard, some ketchup, some kind of like dipping sauce that's low calorie. And you'll have a great, quick, and easy high protein snack with those. You can usually find those in the deli aisle of most grocery stores. Generally at the bottom, they'll have a couple different brands of already pre-made chicken breast strips. So those are always a good one too. And they're also nice for meals. So you can have those handy and make yourself like some kind of chicken bowl or something like that. Chicken tacos, chicken burritos, things like that. And they're already done for you. Super, super convenient. The next one is jerky, right? Turkey jerky, beef jerky, venison jerky. Jerky is high in protein. Now, it usually comes with a lot of sodium and, those kinds of things as well. So again, if that's something that you have to be very mindful of, pay attention to that. However, it is very convenient. It can be tossed in your workout bag, your gym bag, your office work bag, whatever. It's essentially just grab and go. You don't have to worry about refrigerating it oh my God. Well, that is my timer to quit working. And clearly I'm not doing that. So let's turn that bitch off. Turkey jerky, get yourself some. Super, again, convenient, easy, high in protein. All right. Number 6 is edamame. Now, if you're not familiar with what edamame is, it's often served a lot of times as an appetizer at, sushi restaurants, Japanese restaurants, and things of that nature. And it is a bean that is in a green pod, and you steam them and you just like pop them in your mouth. I love edamame for the simple fact of, one, it's tasty. It's a single ingredient food. And 2, it takes time for you to eat it, right? Much like popcorn, which is not protein, but popcorn is one of my top favorite like carby snacks because it's very low in calories, it's high volume, and it takes some time for you to eat it. So edamame is along that lines as well. Steam it, you can throw some sea salt on it, you can make it fancy and do like a garlic spicy edamame. But again, high protein, very convenient. You can usually pop it in the microwave and it's ready to go. I like the fact that it takes some time to eat it, right? You have to it's a hand to mouth situation because most people forget that as we're eating, it takes our brain a little bit longer to register that we're full. I think it takes about 20 minutes. Studies and folks say 20 minutes for your brain to register that you're full. So if you're eating something that takes some time, then you're less likely to overconsume it, right? It's very rare that you're gonna slam back and copious amounts of edamame. Okay, if you do, I don't know, enter some edamame eating contest, but clearly an easy one, single ingredient, high in protein. Number 7 is going to be the tuna pouches, right? So when you go down the aisle where you find your canned tuna, usually there's some varieties of tuna pouches and they come in all sorts of flavors now. They have lemon pepper, they'll have a spicy version, and they just have a plain. My favorite is albacore versus just regular plain tuna. It's a little pricier, but it tastes less like cat food. So albacore is where it's at. Very easy. If you're a savage like me, you just peel off the thing and just kind of break it up in the pouch, and I just scoop it with a spoon. If you want to get real fancy, you can get yourself, some, rice chips or some, pop chips or something like that, and have it alongside with your chips. If you want to take it a step further, you can make it into a tuna salad with some hummus versus mayonnaise. Just a little hummus has some protein as well, a little less fattier than mayonnaise, which doesn't really have any nutritional value. So there's some options there rather than just eating it like a savage like me with a spoon out of the pouch. Okay. Number 8 is shrimp cocktail. Now, one thing I was doing for a while earlier this year is I was buying pre-made shrimp cocktail. Now, I know you've probably seen this before. They have them at Costco. I didn't need that much because I wasn't trying to eat shrimp cocktail for 6 days by myself. But you can buy it at the grocery store. You can see them. Usually they're near the seafood, counter where they have all the fish and all the goodies out there. Sometimes they will have off to the side in the refrigerated section some pre-made shrimp cocktail. Super great, super easy. Again, really tasty. Squeeze some lemon, have some cocktail sauce, great snack. And very, very low in calories, very, very high in protein. Okay. Number 9 is going to be a basic one, but again, nice to just have handy in your fridge if you're already making sandwiches, for the kids or your partner or whatever, or yourself. Even just having lean deli meat handy in your fridge so you can just grab and go is a perfect quick snack. I personally like to do turkey, and then I will sometimes, I'm like so lazy, I don't even want to cut up a cucumber, but I will put some cucumber in the middle, squirt some mustard, wrap it up, and it's kind of just like a little roll up, a turkey cucumber roll up. Super yummy. So lean deli meat. It doesn't have to be turkey. There's chicken deli meat, there's pork, or ham, I should say. And I believe you'll probably find some roast beef too. So find whatever you like and prefer. Check the protein content, make sure you're good to go, and then just make sure to give yourself enough in terms of portion sizes so you do get some really robust protein in with that snack. The next one, I lost my number count here, but the next one is going to be a simple whey protein shake. And I've talked about this often about how I don't like to use it as a crutch for all of my meals. I prefer whole foods, but there are many days, usually at least 4 out of 7, where I am consuming a protein shake. And usually it's on a day where I am training as well. Doesn't have to be, but this is another quick and easy way to get some immediate protein into your system. A scoop of protein, shake it up with some water. If you want to get fancy, some almond milk, and you're good to go. I have several favorites. I will link up my favorite in the cheat sheet, but also in the show notes as well. So you can click on that and you can be sent directly to the online shopping center and you can purchase yourself some protein. If not, go to your local supplement store and find a protein powder that has at least 20 to 25 grams of protein per scoop, okay? Generally, if you're finding a protein that is under 150 calories per scoop, it should be a whey protein isolate. And that's oftentimes a lot easier for people that have sensitivities to dairy. So if you're like, I can't do dairy, I can't do protein shakes, they mess up my stomach. The way that the protein isolates are manufactured and processed is they pull out the items that cause that sort of issue for those of you that have sensitivities to dairy. So my clients who usually have issues with dairy deal with isolates typically pretty well. They handle isolates pretty well. So again, super easy. You can take it with you. Very convenient, easy snack. Next is going to be tofu. Right? You can chop it up. You can put it in the air fryer. You can season it. You can make tofu cubes. You can make tofu sticks with a dipping sauce and nice little quick and easy high protein snack as well. That is plant-based and not animal-based, right? I know there's a mixture in here and I'm not really getting into the nitty-gritties of like, oh, this is dairy-free and this is, you and do what you need to do, but I'm giving you all the options so you can't tell me that you ate the pantry full of snacks because you're going to go grocery shopping after this episode, bitch, okay? Then we have crispy chickpeas. If you have not seen these in the grocery store, they are typically in the aisle that has like the nuts, the seeds, and the popcorn aisle. It is a very snacky aisle, so just keep your blinders on and just head to the chickpeas. But chickpeas are, I believe they're garbanzo beans, but they like air fry them and season them up and they're crunchy. It kind of reminds me of corn nuts, okay? Because I'm not going to lie, back in high school, Cool Ranch corn nuts were my favorite, and I ain't be eating corn nuts anymore. So it's chickpeas for this boss bitch. Crispy chickpeas, delicious. Okay. Next up, we have protein bars, duh. And I actually just had one for a snack, which I'm going to show my friends over here on the YouTubes. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I did a full day of in the life my really exciting life. And this was the protein bar I had today. This is a Built bar. This is one of my top probably 3 protein bars that I'm consuming currently until something else comes around. But they have these, this is the chunk bar that I had today, which was cookies and cream. You see my lipstick on there. And it has these little chunks of marshmallows, and they're so freaking delicious. But Built they're always coming out with different flavors, different textures. And that's why I really like this company, is because they're always trying out different things. They're always experimenting and, coming up with different flavors and all those, intricate, interesting flavors like churro and like frosted cupcake and, cinnamon bun, things like that. My personal favorite is the chunk bars and also the puffs. So these are great little convenient snacks. I know that some people hate on protein bars and are like, they're glorified candy bars. Okay, but they contain protein, which is also going to help, 1, meet your protein goals, but 2, isn't going to create that same crazy sugar spike as you're going to see if you have a Snickers bar or a Twix, right? And quite honestly, most of these I use as a dessert, after a dinner or, after like midday after lunch when I'm like, I want a little something sweet. I will generally go for a protein bar. So I will link those up as well. I have a promo code for you so you can save on your first order. So that will all be in the show notes too. So check them out. Love Built bars. Can't speak highly enough about Built bars. I also love, believe they're called Nugo bars, and Costco carries those. They have like a dark chocolate pretzel. I don't have a promo code for Costco. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. And then the third one that is my favorite is going to be a Power Crunch bar. I don't have a promo code for them. Sorry. But the Power Crunch bars are very reminiscent of a wafer cookie. So if you like that texture, it's very wafery, it's crispy, and it has, the typical protein bar coating, and they come in a variety of flavors as well. So you just have to know what texture you like. You have the crunchy, crispy texture of the Power Crunch bar. The Built bars are going to be more chewy. Okay. So more like a candy bar, not like a Snickers, but like that kind of texture where it gets in your teeth and it's nougaty, that kind of a thing. I love that shit. So that's my jam. And then the Nugo bars are more like a granola bar that's just kind of covered in chocolate. So those are my top 3. I've tried so many other ones. The Barbells, those are like a new one that I'm kind of implementing as well. Those are also really good. Those have more of like if you've ever had 100 grand, which is an old school candy bar, but it reminds me of that kind of texture. So anyhow, protein bars, love them. Don't abuse them. 1 a day, you don't want to be living on those. But again, great in a pinch. You can throw them in a purse and it just is super easy to carry that with you. Next up, I have on the list that's super, again, like, didn't even think of that, is string cheese, mozzarella string cheese. Very low in fat, it's not high in protein, but it is a nice protein-based snack. So if you are shopping for the kiddos and you need stuff for their lunches or whatever, this is also a great way to serve both purposes, your snacks and the kids' snacks. And again, super easy, but you will need to refrigerate those. So keep those in mind if you're taking them to work or to school or whatever you're doing. I already spoke about this one, but hummus. They have lentil hummus, black bean hummus, regular hummus. Hummus is like taken off, right? It is morphing. It is so many different iterations of hummus. So hummus is one of those things that I used really heavily in the beginning when I started my transition to eating more whole foods, because I was putting mayonnaise and like ranch and copious sauces on all my foods. That's how I was raised. I didn't know any better, right? So hummus is a great food lube, okay? So it can lube your food without all the high fat and high calories. Now you got to be careful because it still contains calories, but again, it is going to be one of those spreads that's lower in fat and does have some trace protein. It's not super high, but it is a nice little protein food lube. I like to use it in egg salad sandwiches, in tuna, tuna sandwiches. I will just use it to dip my sliced turkey wraps in, just something to kind of add a little bit of flavor. But there are so many varieties. Pick up some hummus, start playing around with it, like not playing around with it, but like put it in your food. And there are two that are my general favorite flavors is going to be like the roasted red pepper hummus, and then also like a garlic, anything garlicky. I love garlic. It doesn't love me, but I love garlic. And then last but not least is going to be a protein-packed smoothie. Now, I know we talked about protein powder already, so this would be something that you could include in your smoothie, but I'm going to give you some other ideas. Now, you could also use your Greek yogurt as the base of your protein for your smoothie. You could use the cottage cheese. You could even use, as a bonus item, some low-fat ricotta cheese, which I know sounds super weird, but the low-fat ricotta put in a smoothie and blend it up gives it a nice like silky texture. You can also do a tofu smoothie. You can get the extra soft tofu and use that as a base for your smoothie. Now, I wouldn't recommend you do them all, okay? So pick one protein base and then you build on that, right? Maybe you add 2 or 3 ingredients. My favorite, just because it adds a level of sweetness, is to use a vanilla-based protein powder, a whey isolate vanilla protein. And I will use that. I will generally use almond milk because it just makes it creamier, gives it more of that smoothie texture. I usually like to add in 1 green food and 1 kind of superfood as well. So I will generally throw in like a fistful of spinach. You could do kale, you could do a multitude of other greens, a fistful of that. And then I will add some superfoods. And usually that for me is going to be like some either acai, or I will do berries, right? Berries are going to be a low calorie, full of antioxidants, whole food that you could add to your smoothie to give it a little more bulk and flavor and kind of like a punch to it when you take a sip. So protein packed smoothie is also another really good option. You can make it in advance and then you can take it with you. It'll do this weird separation. If you have like a clear container, don't let that freak you out. Just shake it back up and you'll be good to go. Throw some ice in there if you want and just kind of give it a little more volume and some oomph. There's a million ways to make smoothies. That's just a very super easy and very generic way to just get it done, get it in. Okay. So there you have it. A nice little rant of some high protein snacks for you to experiment with, add them into your current nutrition routine. But you guys, I really, really want you to just start looking at your home and looking at your fridge, looking at your pantry, and thinking about what in this space is creating an obstacle to my goals. What am I doing? What am I bringing home that is creating possibly some self-sabotage, right? Oh, it's for the kids. I hear that all the time. It's for the kids. Oh, my partner, wants me to bring all these snacks and I have to do all these things. They can get it themselves. That's all I'm saying. But again, you don't have to force anybody to do the shit that you're doing. But I'm just saying, look at your home, do an audit, do a pantry raid, go through, clean it up, and last but not least, print out the cheat sheet that is accompanying this podcast. We'll link it up in the show notes. It is going to be your protein snack cheat sheet / grocery list. Buy the damn groceries, fill your house full of the good things. Don't let them go to waste. And get your protein in, bitches, okay? Because I love you. I'm here for you. We're in this shit together, all right? Get your cheat sheet, get your grocery list, and I will see you on the next episode.